Don't mind my appearance. It's a Friday, it's raining, and it's just like a blah day. And I'm here at a lake that I live by, and I started reading Upgrade by Blake Crouch. I've read one of his books before, like a long time ago. Dark Matter, I think is what it's called. It's one of his like most popular ones, he's more known for that one. And this book just came out by him, so it's like hyped up. And it's out of my comfort zone of what I'm used to reading, because this is like a sci-fi book. Blake Crouch writes sci-fi books. What the title of this video is what I'm be doing. Reading outside my comfort zone and reading Upgrade by Blake Crouch. I've read the synopsis so many times, but I can never put it into words. So, at first, Logan Ramsey isn't sure if anything's different. He just feels a little sharper, better able to concentrate, better at multitasking. Reading a bit faster, memorizing better, needing less sleep. But before long, he can't deny it. Something's happening to his brain, to his body. He's starting to see the world and those around him, even those he loves most, in a whole new way. The truth is, Logan's genome has been hacked, and there's a reason he's been targeted for this upgrade. A reason that goes back decades to the darkest part of his past and a horrific family legacy. Worse still, what's happening to him is just the first step in a much larger plan, one that will inflict the same changes on humanity and at a terrifying cost. Logan's the one person in the world capable of stopping what's been set in motion. But to have a chance at winning this war, he'll have to become something other than himself, maybe even something other than human. Even as he's fighting, he can't help wondering, what if humanity's only hope for the future really does lie in engineering our own evolution? So I'm going to be listening to this book on audiobook, since I listened to Dark Matter on audiobook, because I don't know if I can read this, because it just sounds like, I don't know if I can wrap my brain around it. And also, Dark Matter audiobook was amazing. It was so good. I recommend it. And if it's anything like the Dark Matter audiobook, I feel like I'm going to like it a lot better listening to it rather than reading it. I'll probably still read along with it, but I'm just going to stick with the audiobook right now. And this book is 337 pages. Yeah. Hey guys, so I have no idea what happened to the audio here, but what I'm basically saying is I'm on chapter 5, and I feel like the story is going by really fast, but that could also be because I'm listening to it at a faster pace speed, audiobook-wise, but so far the book is really gripping, and since I am listening to it on audiobook and physically following it, it's just like a whole other experience, and I really recommend doing that if you can. And I think it's a full set of characters, audiobook-wise, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that's my update with where I am at reading the book. The characters are great. Everything is so good. It's just so very all the scientific terms and everything. It's just it goes way over my head, but I'm just glad to be here for the ride. I get the gist of it, and so far, what's supposed to happen has already happened, and it's chaos from there. And it kind of reminds me of, what's that one movie with Scarlett Johansson? Oh, what's it called? I think it is that her DNA gets altered. It's a very gripping, very fast-paced, very smooth sailing so far. Where I stopped at, there are things that have come up that the main character is being blown away by, because it's a twist in the story, but also a twist for the main character, because they're I thought differently, or I was told differently while growing up. I think the DNA mutation was, he was basically targeted by his mom. His mom is a part of the people that are trying to create this different mega human. I don't know how to explain it, but it also reminds me of the movie Jumper, because in the movie The Jumper, the kid has the ability and his mom leaves him at a young age, and as the kid grows up, he encounters his mom, and his mom is the people that are trying to stop people with the same powers that the kid has. So it kind of reminds me of that in a way, their relationship and what's going on with the scientists and everything. But from him getting out of quarantine from being exposed, he basically is being put back in quarantine or just like a holding cell to fully understand what is happening to him. And now he's like breaking out of the cell by someone in a hazmat suit, and that's where I ended it. But I know who was in the hazmat suit, but I'm not saying it because that's gonna be a spoiler. But it's just so interesting so far. I care for the character. Everything's just good so far, and I'm really enjoying it. Reading out of my comfort zone for sci-fi. I like books that are like this, but not sci-fi as in like outer space war, like Star Wars. I'm not a fan of Star Wars. I'm not a fan. I don't hate it. It's not for me because that's a whole different other sci-fi like genre. But this type of sci-fi I do like. I think I've realized that. Okay, so I just got to part 2, page 166 of Upgrade by Blake Crouch. And so far, this book is really good. It's really fast-paced while listening to the audiobook, and it's not a full set of characters. It's just one person doing like slightly different tones of voices. And we got to a part in the book where he's with his sister. They found out like there's like a code within the upgrade of the DNA, and they find this code and they go to where the code says to go to, and they find this laptop, and it's just of a person who explains what is happening, what the upgrade is, and why they were targeted. And I don't want to give too much away because there's like a lot of spoilers I can say, so I'm trying like to tread lightly here while trying to explain. But well, before they found the laptop, they found a dead body, which right away, who I thought the dead body was, I was correct on that. And I just feel like the past couple of books I've read that like they find a body and that being like the plot point of it, it's not very triumphant of like finding the body. I know that sounds really weird, but now what they know, Logan and his sister are not agreeing, and shit goes down. Now we're at part 2. I'm like, okay, where's it gonna go from here now? It's so interesting. It's so fascinating, the mind of this author, because a lot of things just go over my head, but I'm enjoying it. I'm here for the ride. I love the structure and the plot of this and how everything is going so far. I felt like we were just getting started with like Logan finding out what the upgrade is and what it means, and now we're like at part 2, which is chapter 7, and it says like 1 year later. I'm like, where's this going? I love it so far. Anything Blake Crouch writes is so good. The writing is so good, dialogue so good, characters are so good. Anything he writes in that genre is so good. And sorry for like the last clip, this like constant like sound. I have no clue what that is and where it's coming from. I don't even know if it's in this video right now. If you've been here a while, you know I film on my phone, which I have an iPhone X, and my phone might be telling me I need an upgrade. Wow, Jess. Dad jokes much? So I got to page 226, chapter 10 of Upgrade by Blake Crouch on audiobook, and we got to the part 2 in this book, and it's kind of lost my interest now that we're at part 2 because he's just like now on the run, and it just feels very dystopian, and I don't think dystopian's for me. Like, it kind of reminds me of The Darkest Minds and how normal dystopians written. It's just like they're in the survive mode, trying to survive on the run, and that doesn't really entice me. And it's just, I've just been put in like in a lull, like, okay, cool, where we gonna get to next? A lot of stuff's been going down, but I was more interested in part 1 of this book. And since we're on the run and it's now not a battle, but like him and his sister have different opinions on what should go down with the upgrade, and it kind of reminds me of like the pandemic that we went through, COVID and quarantine, and like the virus is spreading. And like I think there's 2 different things, like there's a virus now and there's like the upgrade, which it's kind of lost my interest, like I said, but I'm trying to get through it. And if I was just physically reading this, I probably would have put this book down for longer during this part than if I was just reading it audiobook wise. But yeah, that's my update right now. Writing, dialogue, characters, still all good. I was really more impressed at the beginning. Hey guys, so I finished the audiobook of Upgrade by Blake Crouch last night, and the book in general, it was okay. Wasn't my favorite of Blake Crouch's, and I probably should not compare it to Dark Matter, but I kind of am. But it was an okay read for me. It wasn't like anything mind-blowing. So this book does divide up into part 1, part 2, and part 3 of the story. And I do really like part 1 and part 3. Part 2 was just kind of like a lull to me, like I said in the previous clip. It just didn't capture my attention. It just, like, I guess like survival books are not for me too, with basic survival, but into part 2. But I really like the execution of part 3 and how everything unfolded. And I understand the part 2 of Connect 1 and part 3, but I just feel like there's nothing you can do like make it any better. It was okay, and I do like the concept. It was very interesting, but I wasn't mind blown. Like, it was okay. It was a good read. The writing, the characters and structure, all so good. They're so good. It's Blake Crouch. He writes really good sci-fi novels. Like, his writing, his structure of the stories are good. I did like the characters. I did for the characters. And I really did like the epilogue. So like bittersweet. But finding out what the upgrade is and what it does and why it became a thing is very interesting. And I like how it shows like one person that's pro upgrade and one person that's not pro upgrade. And I do really like seeing that in the conflict between them. And I like how it just didn't make it one-sided. And I did not think of how it ended. Blake Crouch took it the way I thought he was going to take it, with the other person's perspective of it, the perspective we got of it. I was very like surprised at that, but I really did enjoy this book. It's really talking about books without trying to give spoilers away, because you just want to like word vomit, like, and I'm trying not to. The scientific talk about the upgrade was very like, it went ahead, like I'm like, okay, I'll just follow along and agree, but it did make sense. Like, I'm not a scientific person at all, but I did understand the gist of what they're trying to talk about, and I like how Blake Crouch wrote that without going over people's head. He simplified it. So this is the end of the reading vlog, and I hope you guys liked it. I really like doing reading vlogs and showing my journey and progression of reading this book and my thoughts, feelings, and whatnot of the book. But yeah. So like this video if you want more videos like this, and like and subscribe for more videos by me. And I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.